Awesome. Hello, hello. Hi to everyone that is jumping in. We've got some familiar names in there. So for anybody I know, hi, good to see you. We will give everyone a second or two to jump in before we kind of give the lay of the land to get started. But we are climbing up there. So I like to see a really good attendance, honestly. I'm going to give this 1 or 2 minutes again before we get started, but for anyone who happens to have slipped by and does not know myself or Alexa, my name is Kim. I am one of the training and onboarding specialists here at Map My Customers. I'm going to be leading us through today's webinar on frequencies. And we also have Alexa here. If Alexa, you want to say hello as well.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you.
Awesome. So to some capacity, you probably know one or two of us. So I am going to maybe give it about 15 more seconds. The people trickling in is slowing down, and then we will go ahead and dive right in. So we'll give it a beat here and I will get started. All right. No new people jumping in the last 5 seconds. So we're going to get started here. Thank you guys so much for jumping in today. Today's webinar, and we got Michelle jumping in too from a Starbucks. Today's webinar is going to focus in on a feature that is from the Map My Customer side, getting a little bit of a rebrand. So maybe you are familiar with the Cadences feature, maybe you are not familiar with it at all. But wherever you stand, hopefully today you walk away knowing what this feature is going to look like, starting probably early next week. If you've got questions, please do feel free to throw them in the chat. There's a chat, there is a Q&A section. So awesome. Thanks, Scott. Good to see everyone here. But there is a Q&A session, there is a chat. Alexa is going to keep eyes on that, as well as Michelle, so please do feel free to throw them in there. If you've got a question on something else that is not what we're going to look at today, we'll guide you to the article that might help you out, support resources, but today we're focusing on frequencies. We're going to record today's call and I will send it out to everybody after. We might need to make some cuts, make some edits, things like that. So you will see it in your inbox. Give me some time. I'll get it to you guys. If not today, sometime tomorrow. If you've got team members that were not able to join live, we're going to give it to everyone who registered. Feel free to forward it out to everyone else, but you will get the recording of today's session. What we're going to look at today is going to be both the web and the mobile version of frequencies. The first question of the day is really, what are frequencies? Frequencies are the rebrand, like I said, of an existing topic that we had of cadences. Cadences was a feature that we've seen some people be very, very successful using and seen other people have no idea where to find it in the tool. It's a very powerful tool, and we wanted to make sure there were no barriers to entry and it was clear how to use it. And in that process, we've kind of gone, as I said, through a rebranding of we're going to call it frequencies. So if you are somebody who has always been using cadences, great. You are still going to be using frequencies. Nothing is going to change. You do not need to set them up again. But if you are somebody who is looking at me blank stare and has no idea what a cadence was, that is totally fine. That is why we've made some changes here for you guys. What a frequency is a follow-up or a reminder or a criteria that you can set on a record that lets you know how often that you would like to follow up with a specific account. Previously, the cadences lived only on the groups object. If you were not using groups, you were not able to use the cadences. We've now opened that up, and you're going to be able to use frequencies whether you use groups or you do not. Again, we're not touching any of the existing functionality, but we're going to make this open and expand this functionality out to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start us on the web version. We are going to flip over to the mobile version. Again, ask questions as you have them, throw them in the chat or in the Q&A, and we will make sure we get eyes on those and get those answered. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and start walking us through the frequencies. I am in a test environment. You are not going to see this in your My Customers today. You are not going to see this in your My Customers most likely tomorrow. It should go out. The release we're looking to do is on Monday. So you will not see this in your My Customers until we push the update. But we wanted people to know what's it going to look like when that update goes out. When I am looking at records on my My Customers account, I'm now going to notice that at the top of every record, there is a new bar. There is a new section that is going to indicate frequencies. What I am allowed to do now on individual records is set the parameters around how often I would like to follow up with an account. If for me, Tired Thrift is a really important account, and I want to make sure I am logging activities every 14 days or every 30 days or 45 days. At the top of every single record, whether that is a company, a person, or a deal record, you are now going to see this little colored bar that says set a frequency. Using this frequency feature, you're going to be able to come in and select how often you would like to follow up with a particular account. You do not need to set a frequency. You do not need to set a frequency on every account. If I know that Tired Thrift is someone I should see about once a quarter, then I might come in here and select this 90-day frequency. What this now does is set this up to say, okay, every 90 days, I need to log an activity to Tired Thrift to keep it in its frequency, to make sure that I'm following up with it on the appropriate cadence, the appropriate amount of time. When you create these frequencies, that's all it takes is just that one click on the account to say, how often do you want to follow up there? You are not limited to, or sorry, for anybody who has existing frequencies, these are already set up. Your cadences will cross over onto your existing account. When you're creating frequencies on individual accounts, you can set different rules or parameters. For example, here I've got this 90-day frequency that I've set up on Tired Thrift. I can see that the last activity was logged on September 6th, and now it's alerting me that this account is 49 days overdue. I'm going to do a quick refresh here, and it's going to say, hey, Kim, you've logged an activity here before, but it's been 49 days longer than your 90-day window. You want to make sure you're following up with this account every 90 days. So this is of importance for you to go in and see this account. On each account where the frequencies live, you're going to see this green to yellow cadence or this green to yellow gradient. If it has been 5 days since I've logged an activity, I'm going to be in the green. That's within my 90-day window. But because it's been over 90 days, it's been 49 days over 90 days, I'm getting alerted. It is red. It is in my face, letting me know that this is an account that I need to interact with. I see there's a question there. Will this frequency setting be able to be used on phone calls for our frequency for this specific team, for a frequency that requires phone calls? Scott, this is a great transitional question. If I know that for Tired Thrift, I can log any type of activity, then I do not need to limit which types of activities fulfill this frequency. However, if I know that it needs to be an in-person interaction every 90 days, I can come in and say, don't accept all types. It needs to be a visit a meeting, a lunch, or a demonstration. If I send an email or if I make a phone call, that does not fulfill the frequency. I only want the visit, the meeting, the lunch, and the demonstration to fulfill that. You can get as granular as setting it by the activity type. Or if you say, no, every 90 days, I just need to interact with this account, then you do not need to set these criteria. You get to pick and choose which types of activities specific to your Map My Customers instance will fulfill your frequencies. Scott, to answer your question, your frequencies that are already set up will not be changed. They will already cross over this activity logic into your existing frequencies. Any questions? I want to pause there. I know people are probably processing, thinking. Again, throw things into the chat, into the Q&A as you have them. But I will kind of take a breath there. So again, I have set this on an individual record by just finding a record, and at the top, it asking me how often I would like to follow up. Obviously, you see none, 14, 30. If you're looking at me and saying, well, I need this to be 52 days. Great. Select the custom option and you can type in however many days are relevant for you and your frequency. The gradient here, again, I do want to show us another account where you can see what the gradient looks like when you are not out of Cadence. I've got an account here. It is my favorite bakery that is very close to me. I'm going to search it up. I don't even know how to pronounce it correctly, but you will see here on this particular account, I have a green. It says not due for 24 days. These green to yellow to red are going to come up again when we're looking at the map. So just keep that in mind. But this one, Olenstein, is green because it is within the frequency. My previous account, my tired thrift was 90 days. This is 30 days. They do not need to be the same for every account. Some accounts are more important than others. I'm going to shift us over the map and talk about how it's the same as what was already existing. If you are somebody who was previously using Cadences, then you might know that you've been able to set these criteria, set these rules, but they've had to live on the groups. You can still use the groups to set frequencies. Nothing has changed here. So if you would like every account that's in your tier A group or in your tier B group to have a cadence set, you don't want to do it on an individual basis. You say all of the accounts that are tier A should be followed up with every 30 days. Nothing has changed here from what has already existed. When I open up a group, I'm able to set frequencies across the entire group. So all 7 accounts that are in my tier A group are going to fall under the rule or under the frequency that is set of 30 days. Again, same options to change or edit or adjust these. I could change this to 35 days. I could accept all activities. Nothing has changed here, and the setup is the same. You are just making the decision not at the individual record level, but at the group level. Looking at this, you might say, awesome, I see the value of why I might say I want to follow up every 30 days for this account or every 90 days for that account, but how can I use that information? How will I know when something is off frequency? How will I know that something is good to go? I don't need to follow up with them. There's 2 major ways that you probably will look and utilize the frequencies on the map view. The first way is going to be using filters. At the top of your map, you might have seen it before. It said cadence frequency or cadence status. It now says frequency status, but there is a quick filter here that lets you focus in and say, I would like to see all of my accounts that have an overdue frequency status. Now, as I'm looking at my map and planning my day, I might say, oh my goodness, it is well worth my time to take a trip downtown today. I need to go in and circle up these accounts and start building a route. Again, today's session is not on routing. If you've got questions on routing, please ask support, look at the articles. But when I come in here, I know that all of these accounts need my attention, whether they are on a 30-day cadence or 30-day frequency and they are off frequency, on a 90-day frequency and they're off frequency. Using this filter, I know that these are the accounts that need my attention. You can also see is not overdue. These are the ones that don't need my attention. These are the ones that I'm doing a good job, that I have followed up and I'm keeping up with the cadence or the frequency at which I should touch that account. You can set different criteria. So maybe it's not that it's overdue or that it's not overdue, but I want to see everyone that's really overdue. Everyone that's overdue being visited by 30 days or 60 days. And I know, okay, I'm supposed to be seeing these and I've really dropped the ball for the past 2 months. You can set different rules and different filters around how often and when you would like to follow up with these, and then filter down your map to make sure you're planning your day and really focusing in on which accounts are the most important. Gonna pause there again for a quick second, just give people time to think, time to process. Not seeing anything in the chat, nothing in the QA, so keep them coming again, but I'm going to shift to colors. The other way that you might view records on the map or visualize your frequencies is using the pin colors. For anyone that is already using cadences and might color the map by cadence status, this is going to look a little bit different for you. For anybody who is never using cadences, this is fine. Something brand new for you to look at. Right now, I'm coloring my map by a custom key. It's just product, A, B, C, or D. You likely have a key set up for your team. Maybe it's A, B, C, D. Maybe it is the tier 1, 2, 3. Maybe it is prospect versus customer. Whatever it is, you've got these color keys that are driving what is yellow and what is green and what is orange on the map, or blue, or whatever colors you use. You can use a frequency color key to come in and visualize the map based on their frequency status. The difference here is that it used to be red, white, and gray, and we've introduced some new colors. Based on the gradient that we were looking at earlier, you will see a pin on the map as green if it is within frequency. It is up to date. Yellow, if that frequency is coming up soon, it's coming for you, you should maybe put it on a route for next week or keep eyes on it. Or red if it's past due. Again, if I come in here and I filter by as overdue, I'm just going to see the red ones because those are the only ones that fit that criteria. And then, oh, thank you, Alexa. Let me look at the open question there. Awesome. So you are going to see, you can use the colors, you can use the filters. You can use both at the same time. But when I click into Washington Square Park here, I'm going to open this up and know it's overdue because it is red, because it's coming up with my filters. It says activity is overdue 94 days. Now what? I can take action on this. I can build a route, like I said. I can schedule an activity. I can say, okay, I know this is overdue, so I want to make sure I visit this account tomorrow or Friday and put it on my calendar to follow up and see this account. I can look at what I've done before, look at the activity history and come in here and say, okay, when was the last time I visited? Oh my goodness, April of last year. I really need to get in there. I can add them to a route. So we've got these quick buttons right inside your frequency to make sure you can take action on what is going on here. I'm going to bring us into one more spot before I switch us over to mobile. And on mobile, we're going to look at most of the same stuff, but just from a mobile perspective. So I want to switch over back into the list view really quick. I do want to highlight that on the list view, you are able to add things like the frequency interval or the frequency status as columns. I can come in here and say, filter by frequency status is overdue. You'll notice it's giving me all of my bright red ones. Frequency status is not overdue. These are my up-to-date accounts. And if I come in here and filter and sort these, I can see that this guy is 813 days past due. And that is probably one of the first ones I want to start with. So I could come in and build a route from here, clicking the different accounts that I know I want to see. It is completely up to you if you are a map person, if you're a list person, if you like the filters, if you like the colors, but all of the areas, again, that you maybe used Cadences, or if you've never used this in your life, lots of different places that you can use and get reminders, get follow-ups, and know, hey, here's my important accounts. Let's make sure we're following up with them on a realistic basis. The one thing I will advise you against, a lot of times people come in and they're like, okay, I should see all of my customers every 30 days. And they've got 1,800 accounts in their book of business. If you can see 1,800 accounts every 30 days, more power to you. You are a superstar, but set realistic goals. If you come in here and you say, I'm going to see all my tier A's every 4 days, and then you start getting notifications that are like, this account is off frequency. This account is off frequency. You are going to not care 1 week into using it. You're going to say, this is obnoxious. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Make sure you are setting up realistic frequencies so that if you get reminded, it's not every 3rd day. It's right. It's been a month. I should go back and see a tier A account. With that, I'm going to shift gears. If you are a mobile or iPad person and you are like, I've never logged into web, I do not care what you've just done here, Kim, that is okay. We all know you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say that you don't care about something. But I'm going to go ahead. We are going to shift gears. I'm going to switch to my mobile. We're all probably pretty familiar with my really color-coded apps there. And here we are on the mobile app. Again, for anybody who did show up late, you will not see this right now. This has not gone out yet. This will go out Monday of next week is our goal date. So if you are following along and you are like, Kim, I am not seeing what you are seeing, good, you should not. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go over to my map. And I just want to talk about what we talked about on the web version. First and foremost, what does this look like on an individual record? I come in here, maybe I click on this guy, McSorley's. I can see right at the top of my record, set a frequency. So everyone be warned, be told that this will appear at the top of your records now. Monday morning, you might wake up and say, oh, that looks different. You can always minimize it, but this set a frequency option is going to live at the top of your records now. I can come in here, I can click 45 and set that 45-day frequency on my accounts. Question here, will the frequencies / cadences that were marked show overdue in my favorited quick tabs be automatically updated with the update as well? Fantastic question, yes. Any filters that you've set up using cadences before, any color keys, any shape keys will cross over once we make the cut over. So absolutely, we will not make you redo the work that you've already done using cadences. We are going to cut them over and everything will line up. Here you again, this is my test account and I'm really getting called out that I'm just not following up with my accounts well enough. So again, I set a 45-day cadence. Activity overdue. It's due 73 days ago. I haven't contacted them in months, but this is what it will look like from the mobile perspective. Very similar. It's in the same spot. You've got your intervals. You've got your gradient. The sky is bright red because I'm overdue here. Back on the map, this is also going to look the same on your map. Just like before, when I was looking at my map, I've got my quick filters right at the top of the screen, frequency interval, or let me look for it. Maybe they want to trick me. But I can come in and say frequency 14, 30, 45. Past due is going to be my frequency overdue accounts. And now I can see all of my accounts that are past frequency. Great question. Can we do a bulk frequency or do we need to do every account? You can set them in bulk on the web version by bulk updating, or you can still utilize the groups that we've been using before. Greg, for your team, we're going to automate them. So if there is a field such as the frequency field that is going to drive the frequency, we can set up workflows as well. So you are okay there, Greg. Again, past due, I can come in here and say, okay, show me everything where my frequencies are overdue. Again, all I'm doing here is the filter. But if I would like to see these by the color, I can set my frequency status as my color key. These are my reds. These are guys that need attention. Turn off past due, and I'm going to see my greens, my grays, and my yellows based on how often or where they fall within their frequency. With that, that is really everything I wanted to take a look at today. Again, on the groups, you can still set them on your groups, just like you did before. But that is really what's going on, what you're going to see, how it's going to look a little bit different, and how you might use that. So again, we really wanted people to be able to take advantage of this feature that's been historically a little bit gatekept, because if you weren't using groups, you couldn't take advantage of this feature. We've been asked for a while now, can I be able to set a cadence or set a frequency on an individual record? The answer has been no for a very long time, but it was now going to be a yes. You can identify if you've got 5 or 10 or 20 accounts that are not in a group, they're just the ones that are most important to you. Use that frequency, set it up, use your filters. There's lots of different places where you will get notifications, where I can see and scroll through my accounts that are past due, that need my attention. So really, it's about making sure your business is not slipping through the cracks, especially your accounts that are most important to you. Like I said at the beginning of the call, this has been recorded. I'm going to send this out to everybody who is here today, also anyone who registered. Please be patient with me. I've got lots of things to do today, but I will get it out to you by either the end of today or tomorrow at the very latest. We'll make sure everyone has access to it. We'll make sure the support team has access to the recording as well. And if there is anything else we can do to help, we will be pushing out the knowledge base articles as we always do once this is released. So you will have the step-by-step instructions. You can ask the support team, let us know what we can do to help. And I really appreciate everyone's time today. So I will sit on for another minute or two. If there are no other questions, I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, rest of your week. And I am sure a lot of you I will see in the future. Thank you. So Michelle, we answered the ones in the Q&A have been answered live. Awesome. See nothing else coming in, so I'm going to stop our recording here. I will get this out to everybody, and I will see you guys all soon. Thank you.